Welcome back. This is part two of our in-depth look at every violent comic book cover and all horror-themed covers. This time we're going to look at all the comics from 1947. I went through every cover from every publisher, and I picked out over 50 for this year. Now, this is a huge increase. In 1946, there was only 18 comic covers I chose, so now we've got 3 times as much. One of the big reasons is because crime comics are really growing in popularity at this time. Using cover dates, here's the big comic covers for January 1947. Crime Does Not Pay, number 49 from Gleason Publications. You can see the guy was beat up and he is bleeding on the table. Eerie Comics is a historic comic. Some people consider this the first true horror comic ever made, but it is a one-shot from Avon Comics. Comics were 10 cents back then. This issue was 48 pages. Jumping to February, we've got 3 interesting covers. Clue Comics number 12 from Hillman. And you can see on this cover, we've got guys shooting at each other. There's flames in the background. Killers number 1 features Killers 3, Thou Shalt Not Kill. This is from ME Publications, and it's a 10-cent cover price, 32-page book. And Super Mystery Comics number 34, you can see he's firing a gun. We've got the sexy woman. We've got the axe being thrown at them, and there's a guy ready to grab the woman in the background. They did some of the most interesting covers at this time. And this is a 48 page, and these comics were actually on the newsstands December 1946. Jumping ahead to March, we've got Clue Comics number 13. We've got 2 different men holding guns on the cover, and that's a 48-page count. Crime Does Not Pay was the biggest selling crime comic at the time from Lev Gleason Publications. Because it was selling so well, we're going to see that there's more and more crime books being released. 64-page book. You can see we've got a whole bunch of people in vehicles. There's about 15 people shooting guns at each other. Charles Biro cover. Frankenstein wasn't technically a horror comic. It was more funny themed, but I still decided to include them just because Frankenstein, of course, is the famous horror monster. This is issue number 6, 48-page count. Headline Comics number 23. This might be a Jack Kirby cover, possibly. I haven't verified that. Valentine's Day Massacre. Editor was Joe Simon. This is from Prize Comics, 48-page count. Shadow Comics number 72 from Street and Smith had a 48-page count. And of course, here we see a guy holding a girl hostage. She's tied up in rope. He's firing the gun, and we have the silhouette of the shadow also with a gun in the background. April 1947, Clue Comics number 14 from Hillman, 48-page count. You can see there's already a dead man on the table. There's another one. Looks like they've been using an iron to burn and torture these men. The woman is tied up, and the guy comes in and he's shooting the iron out of the hand of another man. So that's a pretty violent cover. International Comics number 1 from EC Comics. EC is going to make a big splash in the years to come. And here's their first comic on the list with a violent cover. The girl is held as a prisoner, and the 2 guys are fighting in a cave. 32-page count. And Super Mr. Comics is back again. 2 people tied up, and we've got the guy coming in with his gun, and there's a grenade on the table. May 1947, Crime Does Not Pay, 51. And this one you can see they're planning to, looks like, bury a sexy girl in lingerie. And the guy's got his shovel, but this guy comes in with a gun. Frankenstein number 7 has sort of a cool, kind of ghoulish horror theme. We've got a mummy and a black cat or rat, and that is from Prize Comics, 48 pages. Headline Comics number 24 from Prize. Again, Joe Simon was the editor, and we've got a guy on the cover, the woman. I can't tell if she's holding a gun or not, or she's just hiding or trying to sneak away. Sparkling Stars number 23 from Holly Oak Comics, 64 pages. The man is in prison. He's about to receive a gift. What is in the box? June 1947 said that Crime Does Not Pay had more than 5 million readers monthly. I think they would say that was based on people sharing it with their friends. But still, based on that, they might be hinting that the print run could be 1 million copies a month of this popular title. Charles Biro cover, again, from Lev Gleason Publications. We've got two guys firing at each other. There's already a couple guys on the street. We can see the blood, and the girl is panicking. We got Babyface Criminal. Real Clue Crime Stories number 16 from Hillman Publications, 48 pages. Commit a crime and the world is made of glass. And you can see the guys have all got their guns. They're doing practice shoots on the police. Crime Does Not Pay 53 is one of 7 titles with a July 1947 cover date. Numbers are really starting to increase. You can see Woman's in the House on this Charles Biro cover, and it looks like maybe someone's being buried or they're digging a grave in the yard outside. Frankenstein number 8, another fun cover. Headline Comics, 25 from Prize, Joe Simon. This looks like a Jack Kirby cover. We've got The Man Has Been Killed, blood on his face. They're putting the gun in his hand. International Comics number 2 and number 3 were out from EC Comics. And you can see the girl is being, it seems, taken as a prisoner. And number 3 has got a big fight on a rooftop, and the man's going to fall to his death. Real Clue Crime Stories, number 17 from Hillman Publications. We've got guys with a gun, and the guy's got a whole bunch of medical tools he's going to use on somebody. Super Mystery Comics number 36. There's a man tied up, but he's using his foot to fight the man who's got him captured. And then there's a man holding the woman captive in the background. August 1947, Crime Does Not Pay 54. They're driving the vehicle through a roadblock, a whole bunch of people firing guns at each other. Real Clue Crime Stories. We've got 4 men in prison from this Hillman Comics issue, 48 pages. September, we got 6 titles. Crime Does Not Pay 55. You can see we're in the butcher shop. Charles Biro cover. Something's happening. It looks like they've beheaded a man, or I'm not quite sure. There's a cleaver there, it looks like, on the table, or he's throwing it. Frankenstein number 9 from Prize Comics. Headline Comics number 26, Joe Simon. This might be a Jack Kirby cover, possibly, not quite sure. And she's holding the man hostage. She's got a gun at the jukebox. International Comics number 4, man is being thrown into a cage with a bunch of lions who presumably are going to maul him to death. Real Clue Crime Stories 19 from Hillman. You can see that the man is being held up while a woman waits in the background. Super Mystery Comics number 37, 16 extra pages. It's a 48-page issue. From the summer of 1947, you can see that there's a man being knocked off the cliff of a high-rise building. He's going to fall to his death. Meanwhile, down below, there are men firing guns. October 1947, Crime Does Not Pay 56. You can see there's a big brawl in the pool room. And they're beating up this one guy. It looks like the one guy's ready to hit him with something. Justice Comics number 7 is actually number 1. This is from Marvel Comics, back when they were still called Timely. This is a 48-page issue. You can see a boxing match, and I included this because you can see sort of the ghoulish ghost figure over them, the mystery of the White Death. So not really a horror comic itself, really, but leaning towards that with the cover theme. Justice Traps the Guilty number 1 from Prize Comics. This definitely looks like a Jack Kirby cover, and it's a number 1 issue, highly collected because it is a Kirby book. And we've got a man who is about to be executed to his death on the cover. Manhunt number 1, one of the best violent covers of the year. Manhunt number 1 from ME Comics, 32 pages. The man is about to behead the woman on the table. Official True Crime Cases Comics number 24. Lots of action on this cover, numerous men shooting guns and killing people in front of them. Edited by Stan Lee. This is another timely / Marvel comic issue. This might be number 1, even though it is number 24, renamed from another title. And we've got Real Clue Crime Stories number 20 from Hillman. There's a guy laying across the table. 48 pages. 1947, November cover dates. We've got 8 books of interest. Crime Does Not Pay, 57 from Lev Gleason. 48 pages. You can see that a man has been all beaten up on this Charles Biro cover. Frankenstein number 10 is out from Prize Comics. Headline Comics number 27. You can see the man's on the operating table, but never mind, this woman is there with a gun, perhaps to kill him anyway. Edited by Joe Simon. This might be a Jack Kirby cover. International Comics number 5 from EC. This is one of the most potentially shocking covers of the year. You can see they're about to blast through this man to kill him, rip his stomach right open. And Manhunt number 2. It's got a really nice cover. Sexy woman on the cover. She's being attacked by a man. Dinner Date with Death. Real Clue Crime Stories number 21. We've got a gun hanging there, $10,000 reward, dead or alive, on this 48-page issue. Super Mystery Comics number 38 from Ace Periodicals, 48 pages. We've got Violent Fight, a man fighting another man. And we got 2 women grabbing hair, and they're fighting in the background. Top Secrets number 1 of the FBI. And we've got a man firing his gun on the cover. And we get to December 1947. Crime Does Not Pay, number 58. We've got a man spanking a woman across the face in a violent cover from Charles Biro. Gangbusters, number 1 from DC, based on the radio show. And you can see police and criminal both firing guns. Sexy girl on the cover. Manhunt number 3 from ME Comics. We've got men fighting, and one of them is going to fall to his death. And there's also a girl hanging by a rope out the door. Is she going to fall to her death? Official True Crime Cases number 25, again from Marvel, edited by Stan Lee. We've got The Woman with 2 Guns. She Made Me a Killer. Real Clue Crime Stories number 22. We've got a bunch of gangsters, and they're hiding a dead body in the trunk of the car of this 48-page issue. And Shadow Comics number 81 from Street and Smith. It's not really a horror comic, but it definitely has that mystery vibe. We're going to see a lot more of the horror-themed comics start to appear in 1948 and growing throughout the early 50s. So this is the end of analyzing the most violent and ghoulish covers of 1947. So continue with me in this series, and we're going to get to every one of the horror covers. I don't skip anything. I'm trying to be very thorough with this series. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.